Let's first recall how regular
Bryndle.
one-track recording is accomplished.
Lucio Dalla, Alyssa Manchester, Alyssa Manchester, Dan Seals, Dan Seals, The Police, The Police, Don Henley, Christina Perri, Christina Perri, Jim Photoglo, Dan Fogelberg, Little River Band, Little River Band, Man at Work, Beat Loaf, The Cars, Genesis, Three Dog Night, Captain Antenna, Captain Antenna, Coldplay, Olivia Newton-John, Olivia Newton-John, Paul and Oates, Paul and Oates, The Fray, More The Fray, The Best Songs by The Fray, The Best The Fray Albums, rank. James Taylor, More James Taylor, The Best James Taylor Songs of All Time, The Best James Taylor Albums of All Time 431 of 739, The Best Singers of All Time. Phil Collins, More Phil Collins, The Best Phil Collins Songs of All Time. Two Teens' reaction to Phil Collins in the air tonight is the wholesome content we needed today. Christopher Cross, More Christopher Cross, 166 of 816. These poetic geniuses wrote your favorite songs of all time. 194 of 603. The best rock vocalists. 118 of 195. The greatest male pop singers of all time. Air Supply, More Air Supply, The Best Air Supply Songs, The Best Air Supply Albums of All Time. James Blunt, More James Blunt, The Best James Blunt Songs, The Best James Blunt Albums of All Time. King, More King, The Best King Albums, ranked 386 of 1020. The worst bands and musicians of all time. 86 of 543. The best indie bands and artists. Toto, Art Garfunkel, More Art Garfunkel, The Best Art Garfunkel Albums of All Time. 80 of 316. The greatest singers of the past 30 years. Chicago, Kenny Loggins, More Kenny Loggins, the best Kenny Loggins albums of all time. 60 of 363 musicians who belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Kansas.
Let's first recall how regular one-track recording is accomplished.
Jack Johnson. More Jack Johnson, the best Jack Johnson songs, the best Jack Johnson albums of all time. 312 of 541. The greatest live bands of all time. Savage Garden. More Savage Garden, the best Savage Garden songs. 122 of 383. The greatest musical artists of the 90s. 54 of 99. The best musical duos. Bryan Adams. More Bryan Adams, the best Bryan Adams songs, the best Bryan Adams albums of all time. The Platters. Randy Newman. More Randy Newman, the best Randy Newman albums of all time. 99 of 816. These poetic geniuses wrote your favorite songs of all time. Journey. Goo Goo Dolls. More Goo Goo Dolls, the best Goo Goo Dolls songs. 574 of 1891. The greatest musical artists of all time. 613 of 1728. The best rock bands of all time. Cat Stevens. Bread. More Bread. 283 of 461. The best current pop groups / singers. 14 of 179. The best bands that are named after foods. Neil Diamond. More Neil Diamond, the best Neil Diamond albums of all time. 52 of 739. The best singers of all time. 187 of 265 rank the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Vanessa Carlton. More Vanessa Carlton. 65 of 198. The greatest new female vocalists of the past 10 years. 271 of 602. The best female vocalists ever. 129 of 213. The best current female singers. Ambrosia. Casting Crowns. More Casting Crowns, the best Casting Crowns albums of all time. 17 of 243. The best Christian rock bands and artists. 1 of 408. The best contemporary Christian artists. Benny Margaux. Engelbert Humperdinck. More Engelbert Humperdinck. 85 of 195. The greatest male pop singers of all time. 61 of 219. The top pop artists of the 1960s. 65 of 103. The greatest English pop singers. Amanda Palmer. More Amanda Palmer 253 of 319 the most inspiring non-Hollywood female role models 23 of 48 the best ukulele players in the world 18 of 69 the greatest ukulele players of all time. Taylor Dayne. More Taylor Dayne 249 of 294 the best pop artists of the 1980s 263 of 465 the greatest musical artists of the 80s 101 of 188 the greatest women in music 1980s to today. Richard Marx. More Richard Marx 637 of 816 these poetic geniuses wrote your favorite songs of all time 99 of 195 the greatest male pop singers of all time 238 of 603 the best rock vocalists.
To understand how this can be done, let's first recall
Jimmy
how regular
Buffett.
one-track recording is accomplished.
More Jimmy Buffett the best Jimmy Buffett albums of all time 73 of 139 bands or artists with 5 great albums. Seals and Crofts. Thomas. Simon and Garfunkel. More Simon and Garfunkel the best Simon and Garfunkel songs the best Simon and Garfunkel albums of all time. Bee Gees. More Bee Gees the best Bee Gees albums of all time 130 of 265 ranked the Rock and Roll Hall Fame inductees 68 of 263 the greatest classic rock bands. Tommy James and the Shondells. Amy Grant. More Amy Grant the best Amy Grant albums of all time 63 of 162 1970s Christian pop artists 124 of 602 the best female vocalists ever. The Beach Boys. More The Beach Boys the best Beach Boys albums of all time the best Beach Boys songs of all time. Carole King. Styx. Jim Croce. More Jim Croce the best Jim Croce albums of all time 264 of 1891 the greatest musical artists of all time. Austin. Jackson Browne. The Guess Who. The Moody Blues. Stevie Nicks. More Stevie Nicks fascinating stories from Stevie Nicks' love life, best Stevie Nicks albums of all time. The Beatles. Steely Dan. Paul Simon. Paul Simon. Elton John. Elton John. Billy Joel. More Billy Joel, the best Billy Joel songs of all time 9 of 136 famous accordionists 44 of 739 the best singers of all time. The Carpenters.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video then. Take care. Bye.